Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today I've got the Hubsan Zino 2 out again. There's been some updates to this guy. So the Hubsan 2 app is updated to version 1.1.6, and what it says here is they updated the content, they optimized online upgrade, and added detection of aircraft status list. And then it says fix known bugs. So I know what the aircraft status is, and we'll talk about that when we fire up the aircraft, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they mean by known bugs, but we'll find out. And then also we've got some updates to the drone itself and the transmitter. So I made myself some notes here so I'd have the numbers. So the transmitter was upgraded to version 1.1.5, and then the drone was upgraded to version 1.1.2. And one of the things we know about the upgrade to the drone, and I suppose the transmitter for that matter, is that SLN raw that we saw in the camera settings is now gone. So that's going to kind of remain a mystery as to what that was all about, and maybe it'll come back in another version later. But then in the intelligent flight modes, they added Comet Mode, and I have no idea what that is. But we're going to take this guy up in the air and we're going to find out. We're going to do a Comet Mode and see what the heck it is. So anyway, yeah, it's just been a while since I've flown this guy. So of course we want to check the usual stuff, stability and so forth. And you know, I've struggled with some of the low-speed flight controls on this guy, landing it, etc. and so forth. Yeah, we'll just see what they've done with it and see how it goes. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this thing in the air. Okay, so I've got the drone fired up and I've got the controller fired up. Let's go into the app now, and we'll see if we can see that drone status screen. It should come up almost immediately here. So we're still connecting, ready to fly. And just very quickly here, yeah, so here's the status screen. So this will tell you the firmware that we're running, and it says that the aircraft is connected, and then it will tell us what I think is even more important is the status of your aircraft. In other words, if you need any calibrations and what kind of calibrations are needed. And you can look here, it's telling us that the compass is normal, so no need for a compass calibration. The gyroscope and accelerometer are normal, no need for calibration. Gimbal, again, is normal, no need for calibration. Optical flow state, time of flight status is both normal. Tells us the SD card, whoops, sorry about that, the SD card capacity and the voltage on the battery, and we're down to 93%. That's because I used this battery when I did the firmware update on it. So yeah, so that's pretty good to know. You know, I'm going to go ahead and go in and I want to format my, oh, there's the switch. They're saying that you can turn off the video watermark that some people have complained about in the low-res video, and it also shows on your screen. So I turned it off. We'll see what happens. I've heard that that doesn't work. Okay, so we also want to format the SD card while we're at it. So that's in your camera settings, and then you click on that gear icon, format SD card, format, and it'll take it a second. It'll check the speed of the card as well, so it could take it a second here. Okay, so we're good to go there. I'm going to switch to video mode here, and we want to take a look at our settings in video mode. So we're 4K 60 frames per second. I'm going to change that to 30. Maybe. There we go. There's 30 frames per second. Go back in there, white balance rather than automatic. There's plenty of clouds today, so I'm going to put it on cloudy day. And then color on ordinary, night mode, and we already turned that video watermark off. And this is where that SLN raw was at, and it's gone now. So so that is gone. So I don't see any reason why we can't take off. So I'm going to start video now. And let me make sure that, yeah, you got a good look at it on the Canon camera here. In fact, I'm going to pick up the camera just a little. And let's go ahead and take off. So I'm going to do that on the app here. So just hit this button and it'll ask me if I want to take off. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to get out of your way so you can see the takeoff. And of course, we want to look for stability. So we got a little Hubsan drop there, but then it picked right back up. And it's moving around just a tiny little bit. Nothing too crazy. Let's yaw it around here and see if we can bring it in. And we're in normal mode here. Okay, so I brought it into film mode because I want to bring the camera in close. Or excuse me, bring the drone in close to the camera. And boy, as soon as I did that, we had a nice little gust of wind come up. It never fails. So I'm constantly having to correct here to keep it in front of the camera. It keeps dropping down and moving around. So, okay, so I'm hands off the stick, and you'll see it moving around here a little bit. That's kind of a hallmark of this drone. So let me get it back over just a little and see if it'll stay. It likes that other spot. Let's go this way and see if it'll stay. Okay, so I'm going to risk getting it in just a little closer here. And let's just do a 360 yaw like we usually do. And again, so I'm just doing the yaw, and you see the drone moving around a little bit. And it is in, again, in film mode. So it kind of calmed down here a little bit. Okay, there we are. Let's quit messing around with that, and let's do a droney here. So I'm going to put it back into normal mode, switch to normal mode, and we're going to do a manual droney. So reverse and up now, back and up. That's full up and full reverse. The left stick straight up and the right stick straight down. Let's drop the gimbal just a little here. And I got a little bit of cross coupling there. But boy, I'll tell you what, this thing flies really good, and it's a fast, powerful drone. It's always fun to fly these kind of drones that have this kind of power, and you know, it is stable. I mean, so we were talking about when it was down low, it was moving around. When you're up in the air like this, you don't even know that. So let's just fly around a little bit to get started here. I'm going to do a full stick forward run here in normal mode. Well, what the heck? Let's click it into sport mode. So I'm going to go the right stick, full stick forward. And boy, I'll tell you what, that thing sounds like a Formula One racer. And boy, I see it over the top of us here. It's moving 40 miles an hour. I've had the thing up to, and boy, we lost FPV there. Yeah, and then it caught up. So what happened there is as it flew past us, I was turned away from the drone. So, yeah. Anyway, let's yaw it around here, and again I'm in sport mode, so a little bit of a quick yaw. I'm sorry I overshot it there. What I want to do is usually one of the things that I've always done is got you kind of a good look at the Boise front here, and I like heading over the top of Discovery School there, because you can see things close in like the houses, and then you can see things at in the distance, and you can see the sky as well. And I don't have my grid lines on here. I'm going to pick the camera up just a little bit to get a little bit more of the rule of thirds there. And yeah, we're going to go full stick forward now. So we're all the way forward. And boy, I hear it again. I'm watching that drone and it is moving across the sky, I'm telling you. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. I'm going to look and see exactly where we're at, and I'm going to hit this function button here, and it's going to point my camera down 90 degrees. Ah, that just brought it straight up. One more time. No, I forgot about that. The FIMI X8, every time you hit the button, it'll either push it down or push it back up. This just levels the this function button that you can program, just levels the camera back out. So yeah, sorry about that, getting my drones confused. Okay, so let's quit messing around here. I'm going to go back into normal mode, and we're going to bring this baby back to us. Let's take a look at our exact location here. Yeah, this is usually where I park this thing. Let's move it over just a little. Usually I'm right centered on the school here, pointed straight forward, and we're going to pick the camera back up. And the reason I'm doing this is because this is a view that I show quite often in my videos, and that way you're familiar with it, and you can then judge the video quality based on what you see in the foreground and the mountains in the distance and the sky. So I'm going to pick that gimbal up just a tad more, and we're going to come back to us. And I think we got to quit messing around. I think we got to try out that Comet Mode and see what the heck that is. So if you guys have been watching some of my recent videos, I've been flying some of the bargain drones or more toy grade drones. It is so refreshing to fly a drone that actually responds to controls and operates like you would think it should. So here we come. Let's start dropping altitude here. And in fact, I kind of slowed down on the forward motion so we could bring it down a little bit quicker. I don't know what this is going to do. Let's go into Comet Mode. Let's see what it does. So we're going to go into the creative video function, and the Panorama Shot is where it just does a 360. So let's try Comet, and we're just going to find out what it does. Please drag on-screen box and select the target. So I don't know. Let's just do my car there, and it says counterclockwise. That's good. Okay, and we're going to click go, and let's see what it does. Surely it's not just a circle. No? So it's moving, it first came forward, then moved to the left, to its left, and now it's reversing. It looks like it made a square. Comet shooting ended. That's an odd one. It looked to me like the drone came forward, went laterally this way, and then backed up. Let's go out in the field and let's try it at lower altitude and see what it does. So I'm going to walk away from the Canon camera right here, and we'll get the audio off the iPhone. Okay, I'm going to drop some altitude. So one of the things that you want to remember, and I'm also going to move it out more towards the center of the field here, because one of the things that you always want to remember with a drone like this is when you're in those intelligent flight modes, this drone does not have any kind of obstacle avoidance. So it will literally, you could run it right into something. It doesn't know that there's a tree there or whatever it is, so, or a building. So, okay, I'm going to get myself kind of centered there. I'd say that's pretty centered. So let's go back into that Comet mode again. Create a video again, Comet. And okay, and we're going to do clockwise this time. And whoop, thought I had it. There we go. We click go. So it's kind of moving over the top of me. And by the way, so it's kind of doing an arc now, a circle. So this was kind of an orbit. So that was just essentially an orbit. Let's try it one more time. And you guys tell me if there's something I'm looking at that's different. Am I thinking about this wrong? So we're going to go Comet again. Whoop. And then I'm going to go counterclockwise this time. And I'm going to click go. And let's see what it does. And it's not quite keeping me in center of frame, but pretty close. I mean, it's, the tracking has me. Now it's kind of over the top of me. So I don't know if that is like, I'm just not sure what that is. You know, there's some drones have what they call boomerang, but it stayed at the same altitude. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It was, I guess I'd call that kind of an oblong orbit. Anyway, well, so while we're at it, let's go into create a video again. And I want to show you what that panorama shot is. I've done that a bunch of times. Well, shoot, before we do that, I'm going to get some altitude. We're going to punch straight up, because that's going to look a lot better at altitude. So the original Zino did that mode, and you'll see what it is here. It's they call it a panorama, but really it's just a 360 video. So and you can set the speed on it. Oh shoot, so what I didn't realize is it shut off video when it was done with those other shots. I forgot about that. In creative video, it takes you out of video mode, or shuts off video. So we're going to do panorama shot again. Understood. And we're going to go 360, so you can choose how far around you want it to go. So you don't, I would say on something like this, you don't want it to go very fast. So we'll kick that up just a little bit, and we're going to go counterclockwise. You can choose counterclockwise or clockwise, and we're going to click go. And so it started recording, and basically it just does a 360 pan, essentially, which is something that's pretty easy to do manually. So I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of value in that one, but it's there if you wanted to use it. And I suppose you could set it up for 90 degrees or 180 degrees or whatever. You wouldn't have to go 360. As soon as it's done, it'll stop. It should stop recording here. And we had a little bit of FPV breakup, and I think that's because the drone is essentially right above me. So I'm going to walk back to the Canon camera. And it did. It completed its 360 degrees and stopped. So I'm going to start video again. We're going to run this baby out to the corner over here. Okay, we're back. So take a look here at some of the territory. I've had more FPV breakup today than I've ever seen with this drone. Now part of it is I'm kind of amongst the trees and buildings here. So let's grab a little bit more altitude. So this is kind of another neighborhood park over here that I always thought was interesting because it's got a little, I don't know what you'd call it, a little pergola in the middle of it, and I think they have weddings and stuff at that little building right there. You never see very many people in that park. But anyway, battery level's at 30%. Let's quit messing around. Let's do a return to home, and let's see how accurate this thing will get to the landing pad here. So I'm going to hit, well, let's do a return to home on the controller. So I'm going to punch that right now. So it took the command, but I had stepped away from the, I had turned away from the drone, so it looked the other direction. I had turned away from the drone, so it kind of froze my screen there for a second. So I probably should have turned off wireless there. That was my friend Al Duran that was calling there, which probably stopped the screen recording. In fact, I'm sure it did stop the screen recording. So that's all right though, because we're just about at the end of the flight here, and we can see the pad real well. We can see the landing. Yeah, so it saved the screen. As soon as he called it, it kicks it out of screen recording, which is okay because we're almost at the end of this flight. Boy, it looks pretty darn good to me. What do you guys think? Man, that's almost in the center. Let me kick that camera back up. I forgot you have to stop recording, so it didn't because I had the camera recording there, it did not do a precision landing. So just want to add that, make sure you understand that that was not a fair test. I keep forgetting this uses the main camera to do its precision landing. So if you're still recording it, it won't do it. But as you can see, it's still pretty good. It's within 6 feet of the pad. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you is, if of course I'm not screen recording, so you can't see it. Hopefully you can see it on here maybe, but I'll just tell you, it's telling me that the drone is still 5.6 feet off the ground. I don't know what that is. Hubsan, you got to get that figured out, because you also saw it when it landed. It bounced a little bit and it took it a second to shut off the props. I don't get that. With those downward facing sensors, time of flight sensor, and optical flow sensor on this thing, how come it does not know when it's on the ground? Crazy stuff. So yeah, now it's saying it's 6 foot off the ground. So there's something going on there. And then even the barometer. And what I'm going to tell you is the original Hubsan Zino, without any downward facing sensors, does a better job than the Zino 2 does. So anyway, enough of that. Let me get the thing shut down, and we'll do a quick conclusion. Okay, so actually we had a pretty good flight. You know, I was a little disappointed in the landing. Not that it was, not the distance it was from the pad, that was fine, but the fact that it came down and bounced a little bit, and it took it a second to shut off the props. That's just not something that you would expect in a drone in this price range, so I'm hoping that Hubsan will continue to work on that. Other than that, though, I like this guy. It's really a fun to fly drone, and you know, you heard me complaining a little bit about the stability when we had it low and close into the camera. And yeah, I'm used to like the Mavic Mini and my Mavic 2 that'll just sit there like they're hanging from a string. You know, they'll just be perfectly flat. Well, this isn't that. But at the end of the day, how often are you worried about your drone sitting in front of your camera like that? You really aren't. Usually you're going to be up flying it. And you saw when I was up flying it, hey, it flew great. And it's a high performance drone. 4K 30 takes some good video. So we'll look at the video when we get back. One of the issues that I've had with the video on this drone is every so often you'll see some micro shakes in the video. It's very subtle, but it's there. And there again, that's something that in a drone in this price range you wouldn't, it shouldn't have. And you know, I think that's related to how well this gimbal is isolated from the rest of the drone. Now, I don't know if that's something that they can fix in software or updates, and maybe they have. So maybe when I get home and look at the video, this update may have corrected some of that. So I'll look at it when I get home, and you guys will know it by the time you see this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is really a fun drone. I really get a kick out of this thing. The only thing that I'll say right now is it is a little bit overpriced. It's if you buy it on Hubsan's own website, it's $549 with one battery, and I think their Flymore combo, I think the Flymore combo is only $599, and it comes with 2 batteries and a bag. So if you were going to get it, that's the one you'd want to get. But still, I would think that this drone would be more competitive around $400 to $450. You got the new FIMI X8 SE, which with coupon code right now you can get for about $371. So, you know, it makes it a little bit uncompetitive price-wise. But you know, if you want a Zino, and the thing is about the prices of these drones is you never know. Next week, one of the Chinese websites could have it on sale for $400. It's possible. So you always have to keep your eyes out and keep price checking if you want one. That's what I would do. So I'm a big fan of Hubsan. You know, the original Zino, I just did a comparison with it and the EX4. That original Zino, it's one of my favorite drones of all time. It just works and works well, and so that's what encourages me to know that Hubsan will keep working on this guy, and they'll keep refining it and get things working. But it's a good, solid drone. If you can get it for the right price, yeah, it's a great deal. But take a look at the video. Let's see if we see any of those shakes in there, and then, you know, obviously, other than that, oh, the Comet Mode. I didn't talk about the Comet Mode. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, so I'm anxious to see the video. So when I'm looking at it up in the sky, it seemed like it started off as an orbit, but then it kind of went in an oblong mode. And then when I was doing it from a distance, when I had it higher up in the air and I selected my car, it almost did a square and then reverse. So clearly it uses a point of interest. When you select yourself or whatever you select, it's using that as a point of interest, but it's not a circle. So I don't know. It'll be, I would love to hear everybody's take on exactly what that is, and maybe at some point Hubsan will give us an explanation too. But anyway, fun drone. So this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and we absolutely will see you on the next one. Hubsan Zino 2, fun drone.